Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Ask AJ, and this week we're going to be talking to you about our styling insights and inspiration. And I'm here with the lovely Lucy,
Hello.
who has become a really important part of this role of inspiration and also a great personal shopper for AJ, sourcing and finding all the great styling props that we look to buy. So at the moment we're thinking of next year, so we're planning ahead and we're going to be talking about the sorts of things that we'll be looking to purchase for the items that we take out on our photo shoots, for getting those really great lifestyle shots in each of the different rooms and different houses that we do. So I thought we'll just start by giving you some sort of ideas on the types of styling items we'd look to buy for different rooms. So obviously a main room, which we're going to get in every house, is the bedroom. So what sort of things have we set you to look for bedrooms?
So in your bedroom you want it to be lamps, key one, and often you want the same lamp on either side of the bed, if it's a double bed or if it's a twin room. Similar lamps, wants it to match. Cushions are a big one. We go to Next for most of our cushions. They're really good.
They've got some lovely ones, haven't they?
Got some really nice ones at Next, so that's a good place to go.
And we tend to do a couple of big ones, don't we? And then maybe like a little more accent colour at the front, don't we?
Yeah, and all the colours are often matching. Maz and I were on a shoot yesterday and it was a very mad kind of coloured room.
That's very politically correct.
Yeah, so to try and tone it down a bit, we used most of our neutral throws and cushions, but also throws, as we were saying. We try and go for white duvets, and so we have these big white sheets that we take with us if the duvets are like bright purple, just to make it a bit more neutral, which is a style that most people kind of can relate to and like.
Yeah, and then maybe some other items we put, sort of like clocks or...
Clocks, books, what you generally have on your dressing table, but very uncluttered, so maybe 1 to 3 items at most.
Yeah, keep it quite minimal, but create some interest. We used to do, we used to have nice sort of like perfume bottles
Really
and things for dressing tables. So you could just have a nice, couple of nice bottles. And we went to one house once and literally the whole dressing table was covered in perfume bottles, which was lovely for the owner. But poor Maria did have to remove them all and then put them back. So you just want a few on each. Yeah, in order. So she photographed it and put them all back. But that's something you're looking to make some nice bottles. So you're always constantly thinking of different things, and when you go to visit a house, you might get some more inspiration. But we'll come to that later. So the next room that would feature in every house is the kitchen. So that's like a really good place to be quite creative with the styling that we do. So on top of the props that we buy, that we have all the time, we purchase a lot of sort of perishable items, don't we? So cakes and bread and scones and that kind of thing. So what sort of things would we buy to complement that?
The day of a shoot we often go to Booths, which is, for people that live down south, it's like our version of Waitrose. There's so much in there. The lemon drizzle cake is what we used yesterday, and then chopped up some lemons. And you're just trying to be inventive all the time, and I look in cookbooks, that's the best one, just to kind of think of something that you could use on shoot that day.
I think celebrity cooking shows now, I get a lot of ideas. They seem to go really all out with what's in the background and how they lay out the kitchen. Cookbooks is a great idea if you want some inspiration on how to style a kitchen.
Yesterday we were thinking maybe like, but in fact you've got it here, like breads and tomatoes.
See if you can see that. So that's the kind of thing we might look to do. So we would obviously purchase like a chopping board, a nice bowl, and then we'd bring along sort of either bread or some salad items or scones or anything like that to then feature on those items to make a nice sort of feature shot. Pestle and mortar.
Yeah.
We need to buy. I mean, we do utilise what people have already in the house, which is great. It's not always just the stuff that we take with us. We're just looking for things that complement what they already have, aren't we?
Something that is a challenge, which we had yesterday again, was that we got to the house and you kind of just hope that they've got a really lovely board or something like that, but we were stuck, and like it was a plate, and that's as as good as we got. So that's definitely something that we're looking into purchasing. Some really nice crockery or boards for kitchen shots.
Because like doing a sort of afternoon tea idea is lovely, isn't it? But at the moment we need to you know, get a nice afternoon tea stand. So anything like that, it sort of brings out the perishable items, isn't it? Good. I mean, there's something else that we might do that's not in the kitchen but similar. So where you can reuse an item. So where we might have a board for a kitchen with bread on. In that shot, we've used a chopping board to do like a cheese board, and then put next to it some wine and get some nice wine glasses, and that just makes for a nice shot in maybe a lounge or a study or a conservatory or something like that. So we do try and also choose things that we can use a lot of.
And you don't particularly need, like wine is expensive, but we use like mimics of wine, so Robinson's squash and things like that, which you can pour back in, because it is expensive if you're buying a new bottle of wine every time.
Yeah, the tricks. So that bottle of gin that I use often, is that just water?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
And if so, who's drunk the gin? Or who's drunk the wine in your matter? But yeah, that's a good point. So that's the kitchen, and then the other room that crops up quite often is an office. Now offices can be quite hard sometimes, I think, to style, because often you have a lot of sort of like printers and cables and all that kind of thing, and they're quite busy rooms. So it is nice to kind of neutralise an office down and make it feel more like a study, and somewhere quite calming that somebody could look to work and do whatever they need to do in their office.
And strip it back as well, and then just put in like the few essentials which make it look really inviting, but generally an office.
Yeah, but also as a usable space. So you're probably not going to have, you know, cake and drinks in an office. It's a working room basically. So the sort of things we might look to put in an office would be what, like nice books?
Yeah, nice books, glasses, possibly taking one of our Macs or any computer from the office, just to really kind of set a tone and set a vibe within offices.
Yeah, like I was thinking it'd be nice to get like a jotter.
Yeah.
You have a nice pen or something like that. Don't know if people even do that now, write proper letters, but they should.
They should,
My
it's the
mum writes
nicest.
letters,
We write enough letters here, don't
we do.
you were saying earlier, brandy and like a glass,
Yeah,
quite nice.
I was at a house a while back, and their office was it was beautiful, but very dark, a lot of mahogany, it was panelled, it had a fire, really kind of a lot of character to the room, so it really suited to have sort of, you know, crystal cups, sort of brandy glasses, a bottle of brandy, and that just really helped set the scene against the fire in the office space that we were photographing. So
it's just being inventive really, and working with the room and the vibe that it is.
Yeah, and you have to think on your feet, don't you? Because even though maybe myself or Hannah have been out to see these homes before, often the likes of Maria or Lucy will just be turning up for the first time. So we do take everything, but then you've got to think on your feet, haven't you, to style that room. So that's why we take a full carload of stuff, but we come up with nice shots. So that's the kind of styling items that we'd be looking for. I mean, there's other things, isn't there, like we're talking about in the new year, we want to look into getting, you know, you can have more sort of like board games. I think you're looking into noughts and crosses.
Yeah, noughts and crosses, like a old wooden kind of, you want to make things quite authentic looking as well.
Yeah. Actually, there's one. So at the moment we have I don't know if you see that, it's probably a bit small, but there's like a chessboard, you know, and that creates a nice kind of lifestyle shot. You know, people can envisage sitting by the fire, winter's night, cosy, having a game of chess.
And localising things as well. So in the Lake District, we have Lake District Monopoly, which is quite good in the brochures, or Hurdy. I don't know if you know the brand, but it's a really popular brand around the Lake District, and to have that within the brochures and within the shops, it just makes it a bit more personal to the Lake District.
They've just given a prize, haven't they, on our 12 Days Christmas mug set. So we have a Hurdy tea set, which is lovely. But again, it's got to suit the style of the house. It doesn't suit all homes.
Salt and pepper shaker.
Yeah,
sheep.
Little sheep.
Yeah,
cute.
very cute.
Like that. So yeah, so it's making sure that for next year we want some new things, don't we? And to sort of reinvigorate our styling items that we've got to match all the different homes that we go to. Yeah. But a big part of today was to talk about how we actually get inspired on the things that we buy. So this really has been something you've been looking into for a while now in preparation for next year. So where would we look for inspiration?
Well,
We
it
spoke about
depends on
cookbooks.
your brand, so look into your brand and what your brand stands for. And I personally think, from me coming recently to Ashdown Jones, a lot of the properties remind me of things like the White Company and things like that. So I've actually been looking through this and just different brochures, which I have at home with my mum. And so and we're doing up the house at the moment, so looking into those, a bit of Pinterest.
Oh yeah, Pinterest
That's
is a
where we
good
look
one.
a lot. Instagram. So many on different people's websites as well, looking at different, just so much inspiration everywhere, really, and I love interior design, so
Yeah, just watch a lot of TV.
yeah.
But also you can see something in the White Company, can't you? And you know, we all know that everyone's got a budget, and you know, you can see something that's lovely, but it might be a bit pricey. But you can look for similar items. You know, you can even look on eBay. You know, to actually buy them, or Amazon. Charity shops. We can find great stuff. It doesn't always have to be from, you know, sort of high value suppliers. So it's good to look around.
Charity shops is a great one as well, because especially just looking in your local area, if you look on Facebook, the charity shops around your area, you can find quite high-end charity shops. I know there's a lot in London. There's one in Kendal around our local area, and it sells off really expensive, just second-hand things, which are still in great condition. So.
Yeah, look lovely, don't they? That's good. Top tip. Top tip. But the reason, sort of, why we do all this is to sell a lifestyle. So we're not just selling the bricks and the mortar. We are selling what that home will bring to the potential buyer. So it is important. It seems like it's quite faffy, but it's important to portray what they can picture themselves doing in that house that could be their dream home that they've been saving up for or looking forward to for years or their whole life, or moving their kids up from, you know, maybe the city up to the country, and they're thinking, oh, you know, we want to use this outside space, and you want to make them picture that. So that's why we go to all this trouble of really thinking it through, taking everything with us, and then spending, you know, half a day or a full day. I think you were there for nearly a full day yesterday, weren't you? You know, setting these rooms to get those right photographs for the listing. So that's why it's so important that we do that.
Shows the potential, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What it could be. And I mean, yesterday's shoot, it was amazing. I kept saying to Maria, I kept saying to her, the contrast in just one room, I'd be like,
what, like the before and after?
Before and after.
Yeah.
It was just due to like putting in those neutral tones, which we use, which amazing.
Often clients joke that, oh, can we not just leave it and leave everything behind? Or I used to have the privilege of working with Tess on shoots, and she was excellent at making beds. She was like the best bed maker. And often, you know, clients would sort of say to her, oh, can you just show me how you make the bed? But it does make a big difference. And if you look back through other Facebook posts, you might see a few before and afters to actually get an idea of what we do in terms of how it makes a difference to a room. So if you want to see some samples of that, just sort of search back. So that is our styling insights and inspiration tips. And we will see you next week. I imagine for somewhat very festive Ask AJ.
We're not very festive today.
We're not today.
We're
holding off for next week. So we'll see you next Wednesday.
See you then.